Let's start with brutal honesty. Blockchain gaming is broken. When the play-to-earn craze exploded a few years ago, everyone promised the same thing: play our game and earn cryptocurrency. Sounds amazing, right? People flocked to games like Axie Infinity expecting to make money. Some did initially. But then what happened? Reward tokens crashed. Games became unplayable. Developers disappeared. Investors lost everything. The fundamental problem? Most blockchain games treat cryptocurrency like a reward system bolted onto traditional game design. The game comes first. Crypto is the afterthought. And when the afterthought becomes the main selling point, the entire structure collapses. Run for Pi flipped that. Instead of asking, how do we add cryptocurrency to a game, the developers asked, what if cryptocurrency is the game? What if every transaction, every competitive moment, every progression milestone is tied directly to blockchain activity? That's a fundamentally different approach. Traditional endless runners like Temple Run or Subway Surfers, you play for high scores, you compete on leaderboards, you spend in-app currency or fake money on cosmetics. The game exists for entertainment. Run for Pi uses the same format, same controls, same mechanics, but Pi is embedded directly into every single decision. You're not playing for fake currency that evaporates when you close the app. You're earning, spending, and competing with cryptocurrency that has actual value. Let me break down the actual mechanics so you understand what makes this different. So, Run for Pi is an endless runner that's, really optimized for mobile devices. You control this small character running along a cosmic-themed track. The controls are super simple: just tap to jump, swipe to slide, and dodge obstacles. The faster you run, the more obstacles start popping up. It's got that classic arcade-style difficulty escalation. Honestly, nothing revolutionary on the surface. But then, here's where Pi comes in. Throughout your run, you collect items, you dodge barriers, you complete runs, and every single one of those actions ties directly to Pi transactions on the actual blockchain. This isn't fake. This isn't simulated. These are real mainnet transactions. Now, here's the genius part. Players can spend Pi on boosters. You get temporary speed increases, brief invincibility, stuff like that. These aren't just cosmetics that don't affect gameplay. They're functional items that, honestly, meaningfully impact your run. You can also enter competitive prize pools. You pay Pi to enter. Top scorers receive Pi rewards. The larger the prize pool, the higher the competition. And higher competition means better players, which means if you win, you've genuinely beaten skilled opponents rather than just lucking out on a leaderboard. And then there's progression. As you improve, you unlock new levels and content, but advancement costs Pi. It's not free progression. You're making strategic decisions about whether to spend your Pi on immediate boosters or save it for unlocking new content. That's the magic. Every gameplay decision has economic consequence. Players aren't just playing for entertainment. They're managing resources. They're calculating risk-reward. They're competing with real economic stakes, not life-changing stakes, but actual stakes. And here's what separates Run for Pi from every other blockchain game. All transactions process through Pi Mainnet. These aren't fake transactions on a testnet. They're not simulated activity. Real Pi flows between players and the game economy. So, your mining rate bonus in the main Pi app? Well, it actually gets tied to your Run for Pi activity. Regular engagement with the game, yeah, it actually improves your earning rate in the core application. That's what we call incentive alignment. The game and the core network really benefit each other. If you're watching this and you're a Pi pioneer, you really need to understand the difference between gimmick applications and actual utility-focused development. And hey, like this video, subscribe with notifications on, because we're covering applications that actually prove blockchain gaming can work when it's built properly, not just when it's built for hype. Let's keep growing this community of people who really understand what real blockchain adoption looks like. Alright, so Run for Pi placed third at the Pi Hackathon 2025. That means it beat over 215 other applications. Out of more than 200 submissions, judges ranked it third. Why? Judges specifically cited practical and transparent use of Pi within the game's core mechanics. That phrase is important. Practical. Transparent. Most of the other submissions were probably beautiful mock-ups, probably had impressive marketing, probably promised incredible features, but they weren't practical. They weren't integrated into actual gameplay. They were concepts that might work someday if the developers actually built them. So, Run for Pi was already built. It was functional. It worked. You could actually play it right then during the hackathon evaluation. And, the transparency part? The developers didn't hide how Pi was being used. They didn't bury blockchain integration in fine print. The entire game was designed around Pi utility. When you looked at Run for Pi, you immediately understood why cryptocurrency was essential to the experience. That stands out against vaporware, against theoretical applications, against projects that treat blockchain as marketing instead of infrastructure. The broader context matters too. Pi Network finally launched open network support, which means mainnet transactions became fully viable. Before that, developers couldn't build applications that actually processed real transactions because, well, the infrastructure just wasn't ready. Run for Pi launched at exactly the moment when blockchain-integrated games became possible on Pi. Developers saw that moment. They built quickly, they prioritized functionality over polish, and they created something judges recognized as legitimate infrastructure development rather than speculation. That's why it ranked third. Not because it's the most beautiful game, not because it has the best marketing, but because it's the clearest example of how cryptocurrency can be genuinely integrated into application design. Now let's zoom out and talk about what Run for Pi represents for Pi Network's broader ambitions. For a long time, Pi was a mining network. You downloaded the app, you tapped a button once a day. That was it. Your only interaction was claiming mining rewards, zero incentive to actually use Pi because there was nothing to use it for. That's circular logic, right? You earn cryptocurrency you can't spend. You can't spend it because no one's built applications. Applications won't get built because users have no reason to engage beyond mining. Run for Pi breaks that cycle. It's an application people actually want to use for reasons beyond passive earning. You want to play, you want to compete, you want to progress, and doing those things requires spending Pi. Now Pi has utility. Now mining actually means something because you're earning currency you can deploy strategically within a real application. And this creates momentum. Pi Ventures, the $100 million ecosystem fund, already invested in companies like Side-Eye Games. That's institutional confidence that gaming and entertainment applications can drive Pi adoption. Run for Pi placed third at the hackathon, which, you know, really signals to developers that this type of project is valued. This is the direction to build toward. More developers start building similar applications. More pioneers begin using Pi for entertainment and competition. More mainnet transactions take place. Network activity increases. And, all of a sudden, Pi goes from just a mining app to an actual network with real economic activity. That's the ecosystem shift Run for Pi represents. It's not revolutionary on its own, but it's a proof point. It shows that blockchain-integrated gaming isn't just theoretical. It's functional. It works. And honestly, people will engage with it. So, the game itself is simple by design. It's not trying to compete with those big mainstream titles like Fortnite or Call of Duty. And, honestly, it's not aiming to replace console gaming either. Instead, it's laser-focused on serving Pi Network users with an application that really makes sense within that specific ecosystem. That's actually smart product design if you think about it. Way too many blockchain applications try to be everything to everyone. But Run for Pi, well, it knows exactly who it's for and builds accordingly. If you're serious about understanding which blockchain applications actually matter, which ones drive real adoption versus which ones are just marketing, hit subscribe right now and, yeah, turn on notifications. We're covering infrastructure development that separates legitimacy from hype. This channel is about understanding what's actually happening in crypto. Not speculation, not FOMO, actual utility and adoption. Let's build that together. Now, I want to be honest about limitations. Run for Pi is simple. It's not going to compete with mainstream mobile games on entertainment value. The graphics are stylized, not cutting edge. The mechanics are arcade basic. And that's okay. Because it's not designed to be a console replacement, it's designed to be a practical application within the Pi ecosystem. So, community feedback's been mixed. Some people really love it. They appreciate having something to actually do with Pi, you know, beyond just passive mining. They enjoy that competitive element, and they like being able to spend the cryptocurrency they earned and compete for rewards. On the other hand, others have criticized the reward distribution. Some folks were expecting higher payouts, and some found the game just a bit too simple. There are even people who questioned whether the leaderboard mechanics are entirely fair. These are legitimate concerns, for sure, but they're not fatal to the project. Honestly, they're pretty normal for a freshly launched application that's still being refined. The developers will iterate, they'll address bugs, and they'll refine reward distribution based on the data they collect. What matters is the direction. The application exists, it functions, it processes real transactions, players actively use it. And yeah, it demonstrates a model that other developers can learn from. In a space full of promises and vaporware, a functional application that does exactly what it claims is actually rare. Give Run for Pi credit for that. So here's the bottom line on Run for Pi. It's a straightforward mobile game that proves blockchain-integrated applications can work when they're built properly, not built for hype, not built to extract money through speculation, built with genuine utility in mind. It ranked third at the Pi Hackathon 2025 because, honestly, judges recognized something genuine. A developer team that really understood their ecosystem, built a functional application quickly, and, demonstrated how cryptocurrency could be integrated into gameplay in a meaningful way. Is it a perfect game? No. Will it compete with Fortnite? No. Does it need to? Also no. It's designed for exactly one purpose: serving Pi pioneers with a practical way to engage with their network. And sometimes that's exactly what blockchain applications need to be. Not revolutionary, not mind-blowing, just functional and honestly aligned with the ecosystem they serve. Before you go, check out my other videos breaking down other Pi ecosystem applications, how to evaluate real blockchain utility versus vaporware, and why application diversity matters for network adoption. Those videos are linked in the description and showing in your suggested videos right now. Thanks for watching TJ Crypto World. Stay analytical, keep building, and I'll see you in the next breakdown. Peace.